It's 3 a.m. The house is quiet. Then you hear it. Thump, thump, thump. Your dog's back leg going at their own skin in the dark. You lie there hoping it stops on its own. It doesn't. You already know the frustration that comes after. The $80 bottle of Flea drops that barely lasts a month. The vet visit for allergy pills or steroid shots that quiet things down for a few weeks before the itching comes roaring right back. The feeling that you're just managing a fire instead of putting it out. What if the ingredients to actually calm that itch and to genuinely support your dog's skin and gut from the inside are already sitting in your kitchen? Some of what's coming is backed by real evidence. Some of it is popular online, but hasn't held up to scrutiny. This is what actually works, what's worth trying, and what's worth knowing before you rely on it. Number 1, the hot spot fix. If your dog is a bright red, angry, weeping patch of skin, what vets call a hot spot from chewing or scratching, coconut oil is genuinely useful. Organic, cold-pressed, unrefined coconut oil is packed with lauric acid, a natural antibacterial and antifungal compound. A small scoop massaged directly onto the raw skin cools the itch, forms a light barrier against dirt, and helps with surface bacteria that keep a hot spot inflamed and spreading. The application matters more than people think. Warm a small amount between your fingers first so it's a soft, easy-to-spread liquid rather than a hard chunk. Then gently work it into the skin, not just the surrounding fur. It's safe if your dog licks it off, too. Coconut oil is nutritious in small amounts, so you're not fighting against their instinct to lick the area, just working with it. If a hot spot isn't visibly improving within a couple of days, or it's growing rather than shrinking, that's the point to involve your vet rather than continuing to treat it at home. Hot spots can spread fast once a dog gets into a scratch-lick-scratch cycle, and what starts as a coin-sized patch can double in size within 24 hours if the underlying trigger, whether that an allergy, a flea, or matted fur trapping moisture, isn't addressed alongside the surface treatment. Number 2, the corn chip smell. If your dog's paws or ears smell like corn chips, that's not a standard allergy. It's usually a yeast overgrowth called malassezia, and it thrives in warm, moist spots between the toes and inside the ears. It's a normal organism that lives on your dog's skin at low levels all the time, but when it multiplies out of control, often triggered by allergies, humidity, or a compromised skin barrier, it produces that distinct, slightly sour smell along with intense, maddening itch. It's the reason a dog with this problem can't leave their paws alone, chewing and licking at the same spots over and over. Apple cider vinegar can help here, because yeast struggles in an acidic environment. Mix 50% ACV with 50% warm water. Never apply it undiluted, straight from the bottle, and dab it between the toes or along the inner ear flap with a cotton ball. For a paw liquor, the same mix works as a quick paw soak. Pour into a shallow container. Let your dog stand it for a minute or two, then let the paws air dry completely rather than toweling them off. Since trapped moisture is exactly what feeds a problem in the first place, one Rayoll warning. Never use this on skin that's already raw, open, or bleeding from chewing. Vinegar is an acid. It will sting badly on broken skin. Only use it on itchy, smelly, but intact skin. If the smell persists after a week or two of consistent use, or the skin looks worse rather than better, that's a sign the yeast overgrowth may need an actual antifungal from your vet rather than a home remedy alone. Number 3, the full body soak. For all over redness and itching, a plain oatmeal bath beats a $20 specialty shampoo. Grind a cup of plain unsweetened breakfast oats into a fine powder, that's colloidal oatmeal, and mix it into a lukewarm bath until the water looks milky. The lukewarm part matters. Hot water draws blood to the skin surface and makes inflammation worse, not better, even though it might feel soothing in the moment. Pour the milky oatmeal water directly over your dog's body with a cup, working it into the coat down to the skin rather than just letting it sit on the surface, and let them soak for about 10 minutes. Then pat, don't rub them dry, since rubbing re-irritates skin that's already inflamed. Oatmeal contains compounds called avenantamides, which bind to the skin and create a protective film that helps calm inflammation and pull excess heat out of irritated tissue. This one's genuinely well supported. Vets recommend colloidal oatmeal for exactly this reason, and it's one of the few home remedies in this list with real clinical backing behind it rather than just popularity. Number 4, the frozen distraction. If the licking or scratching is more habit and anxiety than actual itch, A frozen raw carrot can help. Chewing releases endorphins, which naturally eases anxiety and boredom, and it gives your dog a dose of vitamin A along the way. It's an easy way to interrupt a licking spiral before it becomes a habit loop of its own. The more a dog licks the same spot, the more that spot itches, and the frozen carrot gives their mouth and brain something else to focus on entirely. Simple, cheap, and low risk. Just size it appropriately so it's not a choking hazard for a smaller dog, and supervise the first few times to make sure they're gnawing rather than trying to swallow large pieces whole. Number 5, the bug deterrent. What's really going on? Here's where it's worth slowing down. You'll often hear that a splash of apple cider vinegar or a pinch of turmeric in your dog's food changes their blood's taste enough to repel fleas and ticks, or that brewer's yeast creates an invisible scent shield bugs can't stand. Plenty of owners swear by this, and it's worth saying clearly some of that experience is real. If you've used a diluted ACV rinse or added it to your dog's water and noticed fewer fleas, that's a genuine observation, not something to dismiss. The honest complication is that it's hard to know from one dog's experience whether the ACV caused that, or whether it was just a lighter flea season, a change in your yard, less exposure to other animals, or a dozen other factors that happen around the same time. Here's what the actual research says. Veterinary sources that looked into it directly found no proven effect from brewers' yeast against fleas, and apple cider vinegar doesn't kill or reliably repel them either. Any effect people report is likely just the smell being unpleasant to the dog in that moment, not a real deterrent to the bugs themselves. ACV can also irritate skin if used too often or too concentrated, especially on a dog already dealing with inflammation. That doesn't mean these ingredients are useless. Turmeric and a little ACV can be a fine addition to a healthy diet in small amounts, and if it's part of a routine that's working for your dog, there's no strong reason to stop. But they shouldn't replace real flea and tick prevention, and they shouldn't be the thing you're relying on if you live somewhere with real tick pressure. Ticks in particular carry genuine disease risk, including Lyme disease, and that's not something worth gambling on a kitchen remedy alone, however good the anecdotal reports sound. Number 6, the pumpkin seed question. If you ever wonder whether there's a gentler alternative to a chemical dewormer sitting in your pantry, already raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds are the closest thing to a real answer. They contain an amino acid called cucurbitin, and there is real laboratory research showing it has some paralyzing effect on certain intestinal parasites, including tapeworm segments and some roundworm species. Grinding a spoonful into your dog's food is safe and may offer some support. It's also just a generally healthy addition, with fiber and beneficial fats your dog's digestive system can use. But here's the important caveat. This hasn't been validated as a reliable replacement for an actual vet-prescribed dewormer in real-world conditions, mostly lab and extract studies rather than dogs eating whole seeds day to day. And it does nothing at all for heartworm, which is an intestinal parasite. It's transmitted by mosquito bites, lives in heart and lungs, and is far more dangerous than anything pumpkin seeds could touch. Think of pumpkin seeds as a helpful addition to your dog's diet, worth including, but not a substitute for a real deworming and heartworm prevention plan from your vet. Number 7, the gut connection. This is the one worth taking seriously if your dog deals with chronic, year-round itching that never fully goes away no matter what you put on their skin. A lot of dry commercial food is heavy in cheap carbohydrates, corn, wheat, starchy fillers, which convert to sugar in the body. Sugar feeds yeast and bacteria, which can throw off your dog's gut balance over time. When that balance tips, something called leaky gut can develop, where the lining of the intestine becomes more permeable than it should be, letting partially digested particles slip into the bloodstream, where they don't belong. Your dog's immune system reacts to this by going on high alert, and once it's in that state, it starts overreacting completely normal, harmless things too, like pollen, dust, or grass. That constant low-level immune overreaction is what shows up on the outside as itchy, inflamed, flaky skin, even when there's no obvious external cause. Adding a spoonful of plain, unsweetened kefir, plain yogurt, or pure canned pumpkin to your dog's food helps rebuild healthy gut bacteria, which calms that overreaction down over time and starves out the yeast causing the smell and itch in the first place. This isn't an overnight fix. Think weeks, not days. But for a dog whose itching is never fully resolved with topical treatment alone, this is often the missing piece. One critical warning here. Always check the label before buying yogurt or kefir. Look for xylitol, sometimes listed as birch sugar, on the ingredients list. It's a common ingredient in sugar-free or diet products, and even a tiny amount is enough to cause a dangerous blood sugar crash and liver failure in a dog. Only use plain, unsweetened versions with no artificial sweeteners at all. And when in doubt, read the label twice before it goes anywhere near your dog's bowl. Number 8. The skin armor. Your dog's outer skin layer fully replaces itself roughly every 3 weeks, which means there's a real, recurrent opportunity to build stronger, healthier skin from inside, not just patch problems on the surface after they show up. Skin cells are built largely from fats, and if your dog's food has been sitting open in a bag for weeks, those healthy fats have often already oxidized and broken down, leaving less of the body to actually work with when it rebuilds that outer layer. Omega-3s fix this. A mashed sardine, packed in plain water, no added salt, mixed into food twice a week is a cheap, powerful source, and most dogs genuinely enjoy the taste. An unseasoned cooked egg works too if your dog is a fan of fish, or a splash of homemade bone broth poured over the kibble, which adds collagen alongside the fats for extra support to skin and joint tissue. One warning worth repeating clearly: never use store-bought human bone broth from the soup aisle. It's almost always seasoned with onion and garlic, both of which are toxic to dogs and can damage red blood cells even in small amounts over time. Homemade, plain, boiled chicken or beef bones only. A slow cooker running overnight with just bones and water is all it takes, and it costs next to nothing compared to store-bought alternatives. Strain out the bones once it's cooled, and a batch will keep in the fridge for about a week or freeze into small portions for months. So it's a once-a-month task rather than something you're doing constantly. That's a lot of ingredients: coconut oil, apple cider vinegar, oatmeal, kefir, pumpkin seeds, sardines. You don't need all of them at once, and you shouldn't try. Introducing 7 new things into your dog's bowl overnight is a fast way to an upset stomach, and also makes it impossible to tell which one is actually helping. The simplest approach: rotate. Pick one skin builder for the week: an egg, sardines, or bone broth. Pick one gut helper: a spoonful of yogurt, kefir, or pumpkin. And if you want, add a small amount of turmeric or ACV to the food, not as bug protection, but as a general health boost that your dog might genuinely enjoy the taste of. That's it. 10 extra seconds a day, and you're supporting your dog's skin and gut from the inside instead of just chasing the itch after it already started. None of this replaces your vet, and none of it replaces real flea, tick, and heartworm prevention. Those exist because the risks they cover are serious, and no kitchen ingredient has been shown to match them. But used the right way, alongside real prevention rather than instead of it, this is a genuinely useful way to help your dog feel more comfortable in their own skin day after day. Start small, watch how your dog responds, and adjust from there. Every dog's skin and gut react a little differently, and the right combination for yours might take a few weeks of gentle trial and error to find. If your dog's been dealing with itching, drop which one of these you're trying first in the comments. And if this helped, subscribe for more real, practical dog care content like this every week.